Welcome to the Rich Report, a podcast with news and information on high-performance computing. Today, my guest is John Zakos. John is CIO and co-founder of a company called MyCybertwin. Welcome to the show, John. I think we should just get started by watching this demo and then launching into your slides.
Imagine a world where you regularly interact with virtual agents who are reliable, efficient, intelligent, and engaged 24/7. Welcome to MyCybertwin, the next generation in advanced artificial intelligence.
Hologram program activated.
Our virtual agents surpass others in accuracy, performance, and ease of use. They chat to people, answer questions instantly and accurately, and are designed to increase brand loyalty.
Data transfer complete.
Our agents will help you learn what your customers are thinking. They will improve customer satisfaction, increase sales, and reduce costs. This is 21st century online engagement. So it doesn't matter if you're a big enterprise, developer, small business owner, or a personal user, MyCybertwin's virtual agents are ready for your command. Build yours today. MyCybertwin. www.mycybertwin.com.
So, John, your company creates virtual agents that chat with real people. How long have you been working on this?
That's all we're about as a company. We've been focusing on this for 5 to 6 years, and believe we're pretty much leading the world in the state-of-the-art artificial intelligence chat. So if we go to the slide number 2, what MyCybertwin does, we essentially provide a tool and a platform for people to create virtual agents. They're based on artificial intelligence, and when we go about, or when a user goes about building a Cybertwin, it's based on a methodology to model it off a real human. So when the industry terminology is called virtual agents, but we call them Cybertwins. So sometimes you'll hear me say Cybertwin, sometimes you'll hear me say virtual agent. Regardless of what we call them, they're essentially humanized, intelligent, digital beings, if you like, that can chat to people. And they're usually deployed to chat to customers in a sales or support role. Okay, so this is an internet technology. We we've developed, we've done all the research and development and all the commercialization and put this up in a cloud-based service where a Cybertwin can be deployed into multiple channels. So whether it's the website, a customer chatting to a Cybertwin via the website or a mobile phone or virtual world, you have one central artificial intelligence brain, which is a Cybertwin, that is talking to real humans throughout the different channels. Moving on to slide number 3, just before we get into some screenshots and show what this actually looks like and have a look at the technology behind the scenes, I just want to emphasize that this is all about improving business. It's usually about increasing the engagement to improve sales, to reduce costs from contact centers, so humans chatting to a Cybertwin, so that they don't feel, so they have a good chat to the Cybertwin, they have the information delivered to them, they don't feel like picking up the phone and calling the contact center. The third point, which is not immediately obvious but is very compelling, is business intelligence and learning about customers. So this is about recording what customers are saying and also interpreting what they're saying to gather and infer very insightful things about the people that we're talking to. And obviously customer satisfaction, which is always there by providing an instant, accurate delivery of information in a very consistent way. Moving on to slide number 4, just so you can see exactly what a Cybertwin looks like. This is a screenshot showing a Cybertwin Nola. She's the Cybertwin virtual agent for National Australia Bank. Just to give you a feel for what National Australia Bank is, they would be the equivalent of Bank of America in Australia. They do $4 to $5 billion in profit and have around 200 million visitors to their website a year. And there is a Cybertwin on that site chatting to customers right through from credit cards to mortgages to internet banking. So you can see on the right-hand side here, you have the Cybertwin chat window that the customer has popped open. So they've been browsing the bank's website and they've clicked to chat, and the Cybertwin chat window pops open, and they start chatting with the Cybertwin as if they were talking to a real human. And this experience is mainly text in and text out, where it's a sort of an instant messaging type of interaction. Just following on to the next slide, AMP Cybertwin SAM. This is another Cybertwin deployed to do superannuation, or what is known in the US as 401k consolidation and application forms. And here we have an animated talking avatar that is also interacting with customers, helping them with sales and support. Just one more slide, moving on to slide number 6, one more slide is showing a screenshot. Here we have the Santiga hotels and resorts who built their own Cybertwin and deployed it to their website to help customers on their site. So answering questions about the hotels and helping with bookings and that sort of thing. So that's what a Cybertwin is. And that's what it looks like. So let's have a look at what's involved in building a Cybertwin and sort of understand a little bit about the technology behind the scenes. So moving on to slide number 7. One very important contribution of our company to the world of AI is making it quite simple and straightforward for anybody to build an artificially intelligent virtual agent. One of our popular products is MyCybertwin Professional, and anybody can go to our website and sign up for MyCybertwin Professional and follow 4 easy steps to deploy a Cybertwin. Step 1 is to train the Cybertwin. That's where you enter content, you put in some logical constructs, questions and answers, FAQs, and you give it an idea of how you would like it to answer questions and come across to a human. The second step is to set up the look and feel, which is selecting the avatar, the theme, the colors of the actual chat window. Then step number 3 is to publish it. So we give instructions on how to publish. A user can take a couple of lines of HTML and JavaScript and paste that onto a site or deploy it to a mobile phone so that then the Cybertwin becomes available to real humans. Once the Cybertwin is out there and chatting to real humans, the owner of the Cybertwin can then monitor, review the conversations that have been happening, and optimize the Cybertwin. So teaching it how to answer questions that it wasn't good at answering, and also looking at their dashboard and reviewing the business intelligence to learn more about customers. So moving on to the next slide, slide number 8, to show a screenshot of what the actual tool looks like. So we're in MyCybertwin Professional, which is a tool that's tailored towards small and medium-sized organizations and also individuals who want to be a little bit more professional about creating a Cybertwin. And here we see a screenshot of the Train tab, which shows some content elements here that can be configured with. So you can edit and submit content here. And on the right-hand side, you see the actual chat window and the preview of what the chat looks like. And you can see up the top of this screenshot, there's different tabs. There's the look and feel, there's publish, there's monitor and teach, and there's settings. So you can just work through these tabs to build and configure the Cybertwin. Now, what's very important to mention is that what we've done from a technological perspective is that we've abstracted the design of the Cybertwin away from the code. So you have got the core technology, which is artificial intelligence, which I'll talk about those techniques in a couple of slides' time. But then you've got the actual design and the implementation of the Cybertwin, which doesn't involve the user learning any special scripting or programming language or have to compile anything or even learn the concepts behind artificial intelligence. They can focus on the actual questions and the content for the Cybertwin, and then they can focus on what they want to look like, and then they let the platform or the MyCybertwin system do the rest. So just moving along to slide number 9, it's also entitled Building a Cybertwin. So this just shows another screenshot where on the left-hand side we have what we call the chat flow structure. This is a tree-like structure that has a bunch of nodes that are put together that indicate the logic of the Cybertwin and decision points. They also hold content elements. And the engine takes this tree-like structure or this chat flow and then renders out a chat in real time. Moving on to slide number 10, this gives you an idea of optimization. So as the owner of the Cybertwin, you can review all the chats that have occurred. It shows you what questions it thought it could answer properly, which ones it was not sure about. You can see them in the amber and the red. And then you can also teach. Click on the teach button, and then you can optimize and improve the Cybertwin over time. So a couple of key things about the way a Cybertwin performs is that it understands the many different ways in which people can ask the same question. So when you enter a question and an answer, you don't have to sit there and figure out the 506 different ways in which a particular person would ask a particular question. You can put in the question and maybe put in a few variations of that question. So you're teaching the Cybertwin, or you're giving it some examples, but the system can automatically, it'll try to do a really intelligent job in matching all the different ways in which people will ask that question in real time. The system also has built-in context sensitivity, where it understands the context of the conversation. And you can also build in logic for the Cybertwin to proactively take users through a process, as opposed to just being reactive and answering questions, which it does a good job with as well. Moving on to the next slide, just to understand the technology, it's being implemented all in Java. It runs as a web application within Apache Tomcat. There's a MySQL database. There's an API that can be used for integration. Done a lot of work on security, because it's done work in financial services, and security is important. Worked on scalability, and at the core is a sophisticated AI technology. To the next slide, slide number 12. The technology at a high level can be split into three main categories. You have the visual tool, and you've just seen the MyCybertwin Professional tool, which is an easy-to-use content management-like tool that can be used to build and manage a Cybertwin. Second part of the platform is the knowledge base that we've created. So we've created what we call a conversational dictionary, which is a mix between like a thesaurus and an ontology, and it's our own proprietary dictionary that encodes the different ways in which people express themselves in a conversation, the different concepts they use, and how things relate to each other. And we've created this through running a batch of data mining algorithms that we've developed, and also have thousands of human editors use our own back-end tools to configure and create the knowledge base. And the third part is just the actual artificial intelligence techniques that we've used. So we use a combination of natural language processing, knowledge representation, intelligent information retrieval, conceptual matching, fuzzy logic, case-based reasoning, and heuristics. So we have developed all these techniques ourselves to model the different ways in which a virtual agent needs to interact with a human. But as I said earlier on, the actual user, the person configuring the tool, only has to really know how to use the visual tool and leave it up to the platform to use the knowledge base and the algorithms to actually render out a chat. Slide number 13, moving on. So just to have a little bit of an insight into what we mean when we're talking about intelligence. Well, the ability for the system to reason is a sign of intelligence in an artificial intelligence system. So one of our techniques, which we call conceptual matching, helps the system work out how related particular terms are. So, for example, if the user enters the expression life savings as part of the sentence that they send to the Cybertwin, the system can work out, for example, that the concepts retirement and health are more relevant to that concept than the terms bank account and holidays, which are considered to have a lower relevance score. Context sensitivity. So if someone asks, which one has the lowest interest rate, so this might be a Cybertwin virtual agent that's deployed to talk on behalf of the bank. But when you ask a bank which one has the lowest interest rates, that might be referring to credit cards, home loans, or even term deposits. So the Cybertwin understands context sensitivity and can automatically disambiguate questions like this. We also have real-time search of unstructured data. This is typically when the Cybertwin search a website to pull out an answer out of the content sitting in a website. And we've also got personalization, which is the Cybertwin's ability to really personalize a conversation based on the customer's profile. So if we know that a customer or a human is a high-value customer, then we may or give them an answer to a question in a different way than we would if we were talking to a low-value customer. That's just a simple example. Slide number 14, moving along, it's entitled Intelligence, Abilities to Learn. So an example of the learning capabilities of the Cybertwin is if you have a human ask, for example, what type of credit can you give me? The Cybertwin might respond with, okay, well, did you mean one of the following? So maybe the Cybertwin is not 100% confident in how to answer the question, so it tries to automatically disambiguate by presenting some options to the human user. So in this particular case, let's say the user actually meant option B, which credit card best suits my needs, then that question or their selection of item B will be mapped against their original expression and will go into the system and part of the learning and optimization process that can then be used to improve and fine-tune the Cybertwin and make it very intelligent and context-aware for the domain that it's being deployed within. Last slide, entitled R&D. I just want to touch on a couple of the R&D efforts that were sort of that we had to overcome. So designing and building the knowledge base, because we started this from scratch and developed our own special knowledge base that's sort of specialized for interactive virtual agents, we had certain challenges there. The evaluation, there are currently no formal techniques in evaluating how a virtual agent, how accurate it is and how well it's performing. There's obviously the traditional Turing test, which is relevant to our field, but in terms of sort of a commercially deployed virtual agent, there's no real evaluation metrics. We've come up with our own, but we're still working on these and are really keen to establish some industry standards on this. Had to work on scale because this is not only giving the right answer, but you have to do it quite quickly, and you have to answer thousands of chats potentially per second. So we had to do a lot of work on loading things up into memory, like using a RAM-based approach, like knowing what to cache, what not to cache, and making the other algorithms effective and efficient. Also, working on the training process was quite interesting, where you have to with all the thousands of chats coming through for a particular virtual agent, how does the owner or the person who's doing the optimization know which parts of the content or the chats to actually focus on and improve? So building that into the system was quite interesting because that's quite an important process to make the training and optimization quite effective and straightforward. And then there's also how we had considerations around supervised versus unsupervised training. So supervised training, we're referring to, using the tool and putting in knowledge into the tool, but then unsupervised training and how much can the Cybertwin learn by itself automatically in a very unsupervised way based on the learnings that it's had on the supervised training. Because when you deploy a Cybertwin virtual agent, it's usually deployed for a certain domain, and that domain has certain boundaries and certain intricacies that make it different from other domains. So it's understanding, what that domain is and how far the unsupervised training can go to make a very compelling virtual agent. The last thing I want to say is that most people who chat to a virtual agent really like talking to it. Cybertwins have been very successful, and we feel really happy with our product and the service that we have, and if you'd like to learn more, I'd highly recommend you just simply go to our website, MyCybertwin.com. You open up an account and you start using the platform and sharing it with your human audience, and you can have the Cybertwin experience for yourself. So that's it. Thank you very much. And are there any questions, Rich?
Oh, certainly. John, this is fascinating stuff. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the business piece first before we go into the sci-fi piece of this. Okay. So when you're out there selling this, do you have to really sell the idea of machine versus man? I mean, you're really up against human customer service agents, and they know what that costs, right? Is this really a cost argument, or is there more to it?
Absolutely. One of the main motivations for businesses adopting this type of technology is to take out cost. That's definitely a huge driver. And I'd say a second driver just under that is the increasing engagement, interactivity, which results in additional revenues coming online. So typically people go to a website and click around, but when you have a Cybertwin there that can actually engage them, offer messages, offer links, load pages for them, encourage the next step, take them through a process, that engages them more with the whole experience on the site, which results in more sales being converted on the site. And the third piece, which I didn't talk a lot about, but I did highlight at the start, is the business intelligence gathering aspect. That is very compelling because a Cybertwin is capturing the questions, attitudes, thoughts, intentions of the customer, of the real human user, and it's recording that. And that goes way beyond the current web analytics systems that exist today, which capture how many hits to a page or how many people clicked on a particular button or filled out a particular form or where they dropped out. This business intelligence is capturing the essence of what the customer or the human is thinking. And that's really taking the business intelligence to a whole new level.
Wow. So what are the limitations at this point? Is it just as much as you can train the thing?
It pretty much is. I mean, at the moment, we've got a balance between sort of a manual effort that has to be invested to actually build the Cybertwin. You have to spend time training it, answering some questions, following our templates and classrooms, so we get some knowledge in there. But we also have been working very hard on taking our automated techniques to the next level. So that's the ability for the Cybertwin to search the web or search a website to pull out answers. And the better we can make that, the less the Cybertwin will be reliant upon the manual or the supervised training.
So when you create these tools, John, I mean, who is your targeted user? Is it somebody that would normally be writing code and putting together websites, or is it more of the the customer service person that would do this? And
it's more the customer service journalist type of people, or people who are writing content, because as I mentioned earlier, there is no need to write any code for this. It's good to have some logical thinking and to understand logic, especially if you want to create an advanced Cybertwin. But the really key part of our offering is that really anybody who can write content and knows about, let's say, the brand of the organization and how the customer service should be, what that experience should look like, then they can build a Cybertwin. Sure, if you've got someone who's a coder who can also write content, then that's fine as well, and they've got the added advantage of having that sort of that logical thinking in the background. But that's not absolutely necessary, because we want to bring the power of this artificial intelligence into the hands of an everyday type of user, not a skilled engineer who has spent 3 months trying to learn an SDK and learn the concepts behind a scripting language or something like that.
Sure. So, John, you're a technologist. I'm glad you brought up the Turing test, because while you were talking, I was looking up Turing test, and it looks like they're going to make a feature film about it with Leonardo DiCaprio. So, how far are we away from a machine that could pass a Turing test, do you think?
Yeah, I think. Look, I think, to be totally honest, we progressed quite a bit in the last 20 years with the advances in parallel and supercomputing, and also with the internet, having a lot of knowledge that's out there, that's accessible to people to create applications and test their approaches and algorithms. But personally, I believe there would have to be a fundamental change in computing to really support a real advancement, a huge revolutionary advancement towards passing the Turing test. And what I mean by that is that, fundamentally today computing is based on, processors that are processing binary information. And I think that fundamentally will have to change to move to more of a biologically inspired model that has the foundation for a real revolutionary advancement towards a Turing test.
Cool. So kind of a wrap-up question here, John. Just as an experiment, have you ever had one of these Cybertwins talk to another Cybertwin and watch what happens?
Yes, we absolutely have, and I can tell you that we're about to, in the next 2 weeks, so stay tuned for this and keep checking our site and look out for the posts online. We are releasing a public-facing page that allows anybody to select any two Cybertwins and get them to chat against each other. They can even, so someone can create their own Cybertwin and get it to chat against their friend's Cybertwin, and they can then run this, they can then look at the chats and share the chats and have fun doing that. And so, absolutely, that's sort of one that, these are one of the fun activities we undertake at the office, and we want to share this with everybody who's interested in using our technology.
Oh, John, that's really fascinating. Well, hey, I want to thank you once again for coming on the show today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that's it for the Rich Report, folks. Stay tuned for more news and information on high-performance computing.